on the wire right now, we have Mr. Brendan Kelly, the front man of the Lawrence Arms. Now, Brendan, we got a lot to talk about here. First off, you guys are going to be celebrating your 10-year anniversary in Chicago at the end of October. What do you guys got planned for the celebration?
Well, let's see. We're just going to have a show, and we haven't played in Chicago in like a year, so that in and of itself is going to be, I think, pretty exciting. Mm-hmm. And I did a little thing where I put out a poll where people can send an email and request their favorite songs. So we're going to try to do the set list there is going to be based on fan requests, which is going to be, hopefully good. I mean, if everybody likes crappy songs, I guess it'll be terrible. But I think it'll turn out pretty good in that regard. So it'll be sort of interactive. Okay. And we got great opening acts. The Menzingers is like my favorite band from Pennsylvania, and Mike Park is opening, and Le Plebe, who's an awesome band from San Francisco, and then the next day we're having they're throwing a birthday party for us at the Beat Kitchen, man.
Okay, yeah. So you guys are doing the Metro on the Saturday before that, and then the Beat Kitchen on Sunday, right?
Right, but we're not playing at the Beat Kitchen. We're just showing up, and it's going to be a cool show, and like a bunch of our friends and shit like that. So I don't know if I can say shit. Sorry.
No, you can't, dude. No FCCs, brother. Say what you want.
Awesome.
And where can the fans go and vote for those for that set list for that show?
You just send an email into TLA Voting, like TLA being the Lawrence Arms, the initials, TLA Voting at Gmail, and you can write in as many songs as you want, and whatever you want to hear, and we're going to. I'm tabulating all that stuff as we speak.
And then pick which one gets the most votes. And you guys are also gearing up to release the new EP right around that same time. Can you talk a little bit about the material on that release and the idea behind it and the name?
You know what? Okay, it's a first thing we've done in a few years, and since our last record, we did a lot of touring, and then we kind of stopped. Chris has been working on a new Sundowner record, and I had a baby, and just everything's a lot of things have changed in that period of time, and it's been harder and harder for us to write new material. We just haven't been as focused on the band full time or whatever. But it's actually a 4-song 7-inch, but in the digital medium, which is where I think it's going to get its widest release. It's 5 songs. These are just 5 songs, 4 songs that I wrote, 1 song that Chris wrote.
And these are all new songs, all brand new.
All brand new. And I don't know. I'm really excited about them. I think it's really always hard to talk about new material because people tend to say the same shit, which is always oh man, we're really taking this in bold new directions or whatever. This is bullshit. But that's in no way. This sounds like the Lawrence Arms. No, you would never listen to it and think it was another band.
Yeah.
But I also think that if our band has succeeded in nothing else, our releases have all been, I think, very different from each other. And this is no exception. You won't listen to this and think it could have potentially, any song off this couldn't have been off Oh Calcutta, couldn't have been off Greatest Story Ever Told. These are their own sort of songs. And I would say one of the biggest differences, I shouldn't say differences, but something you'll definitely notice on this record is the abundance of ripping lead guitar. Chris really stepped it up as a player, and so we did these 5 songs, and we didn't have enough for the full length, but we knew we had to release something else. It's been so long since we've done anything. Once we realized we were doing a 7-inch, we kind of looked back to the early days of our band when we were if we ever do a 7-inch, we should call it Blood, Sweat, and Tears because we thought that was pretty funny.
Play on words, nice play on words.
Yeah, it's very clever. but and then we were talking about doing this release, and I believe it was Neil who brought it up. He was like, we never made the Blood, Sweat, and Tears 7-inch. This is technically our first 7-inch. And so we were like,
there you go.
We always had the idea to have it, Blood, Sweat, and Tears would be the cover be 2 glasses of water because, it's just, it's funny. It's one of those ones, you'll look at it for a while, then suddenly the joke will click.
Now, you also moonlight as the frontman for the Vulcan. Now, what's going on with that project? Is that still actively being pursued? And
the thing about the Falcon is, it's never really anything more than when we have the free time to do it. And just the way my life is right now, it's hard enough for me to make time for the Lawrence Arms, which is obviously my main thing, which isn't, it's just, like, I mean, the easy answer is like, no, I don't have time to be in two bands. I really have time to be in one band. But, you know, by the same token, it's like, if I write a song that to me seems like a Falcon song, it's going to be a Falcon song.
Yeah,
you know,
I was going to ask you, how would you separate what a Lawrence Armstrong would be from a Falcon song?
You know, there was that, like, famous obscenity trial in California that made it legal for them to make pornography in Los Angeles County or wherever it was. And the judge, he said, you know, they're talking about obscenity. He said something to the effect of, like, I can't define it, but I know it when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of the best explanation I can give you, man. It's like, I don't know, but it's just like, I can feel it when a song should be a Falcon song, when it should be a Lawrence Armstrong.
There you go.
Everything that's supposed to be a Falcon song has been a Falcon song, and everything that's supposed to be a Lawrence Armstrong has been a Lawrence Armstrong. There's one or two songs that about Falcon that I like so much that I kind of wish they were Lawrence Armstrongs because I'd like to be able to play them more, you know, but,
Yeah, gotcha. Now we did a good job covering the majority of the current events you guys got going on. We're from Chicago. Dope Sick Radio is based out of Chicago. I want to talk a little bit about some of your past projects.
Sure.
It all started with Slapstick pretty much, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I was the first band I was ever in that did anything notable.
And what do you remember best about those early years?
It was just really exciting to just be in a band at all and, like, be doing stuff. And, you know, those guys are all really, really talented players and really creative songwriters. And that was, I mean, that was just like a time when I was like a sponge. I was learning everything. Like, when I got into Slapstick, I didn't know anything about punk rock. I didn't have any friends really that listened to punk rock. We all just kind of, there was no scene like where I grew up. I grew up in the city, and it wasn't like as cliquey as it sort of was out in the suburbs. But when I met these kids and they kind of knew like what was punk rock and where like the dividing lines were and stuff like that, it kind of blew my mind. Because I'd listened to some punk rock bands, but I also listened to some like weird heavy metal bands and some weird alternative bands and some weird like funk bands. You know, I was just all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden I was in this band with these guys who just like had this very clear vision. And I just, you know, that whole time was just like me learning from those guys. Like everything I know I learned from Matt Stamps and Dan Andriano and Rob Kellberger, Pete Anna. These dudes taught me everything I know, you know?
Yeah, and when you guys broke up, you guys were pretty big. You guys were actually on the verge of, as like the back of the DVD on the reunion show says, you guys were on the verge of exploding.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we did really well. You know, we were in the right place at the right time, and certainly I can't say enough good things about those guys. Matt Stamps is the most talented musician I've ever worked with. You know, like I've got some friends who have got like the gift of being able to write like a really great pop hook. You know, like Tim McGrath, Matt Skiba come to mind instantly. It's like people who are really good at that. Mm-hmm. Neither of them like hold a candle to Matt Stamps. He was the best.
Yeah.
His knack, his pop sensibility was unparalleled. So yeah, I mean, like that went a long way towards helping us get to where we were. But yeah, you know, I mean, we're in a high school band. As a band, we were in high school. That kind of shit is it's like a girl you date in high school.
Right.